morning, good Wednesday evening, everybody. Chris McDonald with you. Listen, Wednesday night's our faith night, and we're still going to have our faith show here coming up. About an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes, still a little bit after 8 o'clock Eastern time tonight, 7 o'clock Central. I wanted to, we had been warning about this yesterday and our concerns, and Brad Johnson's not on here tonight. That is from the other night. Let me get that off. But our concerns have sort of come true this afternoon as we've gotten into the afternoon of this deadly tornado outbreak. And we are doing this tonight. If you've got loved ones in the greater Mississippi Valley, Tennessee, Ohio, Kentucky, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas especially, Illinois, and Indiana, we are beginning to see the first initial stages, and it's already been a busy day. There have been several hundred reports already of bad weather, wind damage, tornadoes. There have been observed tornadoes in Missouri near St. Louis. St. Louis just barely got, just missed being hit by a very damaging tornado. A lot of these storms are being observed. They're not just on radar, they're being observed. But I wanted to show you the Memphis radar. Memphis seems to be the ground zero for this tonight. I do want to just show this to you. The area that we're talking about is under what we call a particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch. And you can see this right here. The Weather Service Office doesn't issue but probably 20%. 3%, I take that back, of all tornado watches that they issue are these kind of watches. And I clicked on the button I shouldn't have. I was hoping to show you this in a different manner. Hang on just a second. I want to get that back on the screen and show you what we got going on here tonight, because this is a very dangerous situation. And we'll go to this. I tell you what we'll do. We'll go to this screen first to show you all the watches that are going on, but especially that one in Tennessee tonight. These are all the convective watches and so forth that you see that are now open tonight. This means that conditions are favorable for tornadoes and severe thunderstorms. But this watch in particular right here is a particularly dangerous PDS tornado watch. What this means is in this area tonight, you can see western Tennessee, northwest Mississippi, most of eastern Arkansas, the southwest part of Kentucky, where they had deadly tornadoes there about 3 years ago. Illinois and Indiana and the southeast Boot Hill, Missouri. The conditions are ripe tonight with the wind shear, the heat, the instability, the moisture to produce these long track supercells is what we call them. There are usually these thunderstorms that are isolated ahead of a main line. You can see the main line back in central Missouri, central Arkansas. There's been tornadoes and damage with those. There's tornado warnings right now even down in Louisiana. But if you look at the warnings right now that are out, all of these areas in red right here are all tornado warnings. In the area of Tennessee, Arkansas, we've got 6 different states that have tornado warnings with them. Most of these are observed warnings, meaning that they have been observed either by radar or by people, and many of them have produced damage tonight. This is what we were concerned about all day today, and it's coming to pass that this setup is being fully experienced tonight in the southeast. And really, it's not the southeast as much as the mid-south, the Mississippi Valley, the Ohio Valley. When you see a PDS watch, as I said, only 3% of watches that are issued the entire year by the Storm Prediction Center, they're the ones in charge of the watches and the warnings. With the local weather service office, your local weather service office, the one in Memphis, is responsible for issuing the warnings. The prediction center basically puts out these bulletins to tell you when conditions are favorable. And this particularly dangerous situation is because they're concerned that some of these supercells that are going to be developing, and they're already developing this afternoon, and this is when I had a gut feeling it would start exploding, and it has. That these are going to be long track tornadoes that will stay on the ground for 20, 30, 40, 50 miles maybe, and do extensive damage. These can reach 100, 150 to 190 mile an hour wind gust and winds in the tornado itself. It's catastrophic damage, folks. And if you look down here at the bottom, let me get my whiteboard out, I like this to call it. If you look at these little cells right through here, there's one north of Jackson, there's one just northeast of Memphis, and there's another one down here in the extreme northwest part of Mississippi. And if you look over here in Arkansas, these individual cells are racing to the northeast. There's nothing around them to hinder them just exploding into the atmosphere. And that is what is taking place tonight. They're lining up and they're going in this general direction. And if you're in this area that you see in red tonight, or if you got family that is in this area of red, you need to contact them tonight. The sun, it's at 6:48 in the east. We got about another hour of sunlight, maybe an hour and a half. The sun's going to go down, and these storms are going to continue to intensify. The sun setting is not going to cause the storms to lessen in severity, which normally that would happen if you lose the heat of the day. In this case, the instability tonight is supposed to get even more unstable. And in this whole area that I'm drawing, and really you could say this whole area in this red box, they are considering this a particularly dangerous situation, meaning that the storms that could form could reach EF2, 3, and even EF4 status. I think it's 217 miles an hour that basically pushes a storm to EF5 status. We've only had, I think in the last 5 years, one EF5. There was some indication that the storm that hit Mississippi a couple of years ago in Rolling Rock was an EF5, but it was just below that threshold. But the way I look at it, 210 and 217 mile an hour winds about the same. I mean, you're going to have everything blown to smithereens. Your house is going to be taken off its foundation, and that's exactly what happened in Mississippi. That storm was down here. And that was back in March of last year. It was about this time of the year, maybe a little earlier in February, March. But this is the spring season. But what's so different about this is that normally in April we get maybe this once every 5-10 years to be this early in the season. It's early because we're not even in peak season yet. And to have some kind of outbreak like this is unusual. We just had something like this 2 weeks ago. And this is a high risk area. They put a 5 out of the levels of severity, 1 being the most marginal, up to slight, enhanced, moderate, and high. Well, you had a level 5 today, all day in this region right here. That was one of you probably get that again once in 10 years. You get it more than one time a year, and we've already had it twice since March. The earth is shaking, and it's a very volatile spring season. But I'm very concerned about these storms tonight right here in western Tennessee, especially here. They're going to intensify as they go to the north and to the east. And you folks in Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, western Kentucky, and later on tonight, the weather people I've been talking to and listening to this afternoon, they're very concerned about Indianapolis and Illinois. This region is nothing. There's been nothing but sunshine here today and instability, and it is a prime area. If you live in this general area of the country, these storms are headed your way, and they're going to get into an environment that's going to be ahead of this main area of heavy thunderstorms, rain, a lot of damaging winds, hail in here. But these storms are going to be just with nothing to hinder them. They're going to explode. And this is where you could get some of these huge EF4, EF5 tornadoes later tonight, and sadly after dark. So part of our job here at the Mac Files is to inform you. We've got a news network. We definitely have a faith network, but we got a news network. And part of our job on the news side is to inform you of things that are happening in the nation that you need to know about. This is something you need to know about tonight. Very, very rarely come on a Wednesday and deal with news. But tonight, this is important enough to warn you about. This is going on. And the scary thing, too, and the sense of concern, I guess is a better word, this system, normally these systems, this whole system would normally, if you look at a weather map, these systems move east or southeast or even northeast, and it lasts a day, and then tomorrow you got better weather. What's going to happen, and what's happening tonight, is there is a ridge of high pressure that is stalling this weather from going anywhere. And tomorrow, this whole area of the country, the same area, while the severe weather risk will slightly decrease, it's still going to be the potential for damaging tornadoes, intense tornadoes, and so forth. The flooding, when you see these areas like this and these waves of rain and waves of thunderstorms go over the same area, it's called training. And they have said tonight, they use the word generational, and I've heard the word biblical, but the same high risk area of the thunderstorms is going to be at risk for catastrophic biblical flooding over the next 3 to 4 days. It's not going to let up until Saturday. Saturday is at the earliest when this whole system starts moving this direction and south. You folks in the southeast will get some of this by Saturday. We're not sure how intense it'll be yet. It's a few days off, but you are going to be at risk for not only the tornadoes, the hail, the severe thunderstorms, but these rivers. The Mississippi River, of course, runs to this general area of the country. I remember in 1993, this setup, it happened in March, and the Mississippi River overflowed because of this very same type setup. And it was catastrophic damage from all of these towns along the Mississippi. And it's eerily similar because the Mississippi runs just west of Memphis, and it's very similar to that setup that we're going to see here over the next several days. So we'll watch that as the days and go on this week, and we'll be here to inform you of what's going on. But tonight, again, it's about the tornadoes, and I encourage you to keep up with the latest weather radio, and so forth. I want to go and look at the Memphis radar. I had it. Here it is. This is the Memphis radar right now. And if you look at these storms that they've got in the boxes here, and I'm going to lock this in, these are intense thunderstorms that are producing tornadoes. This is a supercell right here, without a doubt. And let me do this. There's my whiteboard. Let me get this refreshed. This is a supercell thunderstorm just northeast of Jackson, Mississippi. You can see it sitting by itself. That purple area in there is large hail, and likely a circulation in that area right now that's being picked up. There's a tornado, particularly dangerous weather tornado warning out for that cell. These two are just north of Memphis a little bit. Here's Oxford, Mississippi. Memphis is over here. And there are other storms that are coming into southwest Tennessee, and there's another one that's probably likely going to get a warning on it pretty soon. But there are several tornado warnings that are going on tonight, and it's very, very concerning. I just want to show you this little graphic here, and I think this is the one I'm looking for. Yep. This is what the Memphis Weather Office put out just a few hours ago. And it says these multiple discrete storms, or the Storm Prediction Center, they're showing signs of intensification, and the environment will support strong, intense tornadoes in this corridor over the next few hours, probably till about 9 o'clock, and then the threat goes north. But I want you to look over here at the scale of what they are concerned about as it relates to these tornadoes. They are expecting tornadoes with winds between 150 to 190 miles an hour, at least possibility at peak, 75 to 90 mile an hour winds and thunderstorms. That's hurricane force. That's a hurricane. That's Category 1 hurricane. And then 2 to 3 inch hail, 3.5 inch hail. That's grapefruit size, folks. That's the potential that you can get out of these supercell thunderstorms. And to be frank with you, looking at these storms here, I do not doubt that these storms here are probably producing some kind of similar weather. So if you're in that area, I know we got the Trumbos that we love very dearly. They're good friends and watch the show. If they're listening to us tonight, we pray they're safe. Our dear friend Leslie Millwee, her home got sort of touched by a tornado this morning. They're doing okay. They're doing okay, but their house got damaged, as did their neighborhood. And so these storms are touching a lot of people. And there's another tornado warning there in the Boot Hill of Missouri up there. And again, I want to say this. We're about to wrap it up. It's 7 o'clock. We'll probably do another one of these tonight, late, see where we're at after the faith show, if it warrants. But it's just the beginning, and this is the beginning stages. It's not even the peak of it yet. The beginning of a deadly, deadly tornado outbreak tonight, folks. And all I can tell you is hunker down, get to the lowest level of your home. If you've got a storm shelter out in your backyard, it would be my advice to not try to ride these storms out above ground. You've got the potential of EF3, EF4 tornadoes. Those kind of storms can be biblical damage, take homes off their foundations, no matter how strong they are. Do not stay in a mobile home. If you're in a mobile home, you need to go find shelter somewhere, go to a local hospital or a local brick structure, get your family to safety. Do not ride this out in any way, shape, form, or fashion in a mobile home. If you're in a car, first of all, it would be my advice tonight. If you're in the Mid-South, I wouldn't be going anywhere. I would be ordering in quick because this is just going to get worse in the next few hours. And these storms back to the west are going to move into this environment. And what may happen later tonight, the tornado threat may decrease probably after midnight, maybe. There's still going to be a threat for tornadoes, but it's going to be more of a damaging wind, large hail event when these storms, as we say, become more linear and they form a line. But these individual cells, folks, are very, very troublesome, and they're very concerning because these storms have nothing to hinder their progress and their intensity. And when you see something like this, that is a supercell thunderstorm. That's Midwest type stuff. And that's Texas, Kansas, Nebraska. And it's beginning right here. And again, there's nothing around these storms to hinder their progress. And all this air is coming in from the south. You've got the jet stream coming this direction. You've got some south, you've got due winds coming from the south. I mean, you really got winds coming from 3 different directions. And all that does is start twisting these storms in the upper levels of the atmosphere. That's why they produce these big tornadoes. Those can be killers. Don't be foolish tonight. And I don't mean this bad, folks. People in general ignore weather warnings and they think that this is no big deal. This is a life-threatening situation tonight in the Mid-South. Please let me stress that. Please let me stress that this is a life-threatening situation. If you're in the path of these storms and in that region, you need to be making a plan tonight that if I get a warning of any kind, I'm going to a safe place in my house, and I'm not going to take it lightly. You folks in Southwest Ohio, heads up. After 9 o'clock tonight, this is headed to you. Indiana, Illinois. The region is prime. Southwest Kentucky, where Mayfield, Kentucky was basically almost wiped off the map in 2022. We had a lady in our chat this morning that said she lost a relative in that tornado in Southwest Kentucky in 22. It's still on the minds of many. And sadly, tonight, these storms will be coming into that region probably about the same time that other tornado hit in December. It was a December outbreak. It was a weird outbreak. We're going to be starting a Weather Channel soon for the very purpose of these kind of events. And but right now, we just have our news network to go off of. And I felt like it was necessary to come and give you an update of what's going on. It has begun, what we had told you about and warned you about last night. So please be safe out there. If you've got any questions, macfilesforum@gmail.com. I don't have time to take them right now. We've got to get ready for our Wednesday midweek Bible study, and we'll be taking your prayer requests and so forth. That'll be on our Face network tonight. But we will be back on here should conditions warrant, and I've got a feeling they will, at least give you a 15-minute update later tonight. But as of right now, these are the tornado warnings, and I want to just, let's see if we can get that map put back up. Is this the map? Yes. These are the tornado watches that are in effect for the country tonight. But this one in particular, in the center, is what we call a particularly dangerous situation. That means that this area of the country is where the most intense and most likely place will be for the most violent and long track tornadoes tonight. And many of these sadly will come after dark. So please take care of yourselves out there. Be safe. We'll be right here to keep you updated on things. I've got a new website that I saw over the weekend, Max Velocity, young kid. Reminds me of a young Chris McDonald, a young Chris McDonald wannabe. I looked at him and I said, my God, that could have been me back in the day. He's a good kid, and he's like me. He's just himself. He eats his potato chips and drinks his Cokes while on air. But Google him, follow him on Facebook, and he's really got the best weather coverage out there, honestly, that I've seen so far. And if you're up tonight, don't miss Bible study for it, but we'll keep you posted as the night goes on about any other warnings and major things. That storm that we just saw in Jackson is going just west of Nashville now. You folks in Nashville, Jason Miller, if you're listening to me, buddy, this is headed your way. Mark White, others of you that we know and love very dearly are in that area, and the Trumbo's are in Memphis. So we got a lot of listeners in Western Tennessee, and I'm way east. I'm down south tonight, but our weather is going to be coming through Sunday, looks like. But tonight, our eyes are focused on the Mid-South, and if you'll notice down here in that fuchsia color, tornadoes, the likelihood is high. EF2 plus tornadoes is high. Severe wind is high. 65 plus knot winds are high. And the hail issue may not be as big a deal. It will be, though. That's moderate. You very rarely see that all fuchsia like that in any of these watches. It's happening tonight. You folks in the Mid-South, be safe. Chris McDonald for the MacFiles News Network tonight. Listen, we'll be back here again in about an hour and 15 minutes for the face side. You be safe down there, and may the Lord bless you all tonight. And we will be in touch with you with an update as it seems fit. Okay? Have a good night, everybody. Put some fire in that house, and we will see you back here on the face side later. Y'all be safe. Good night, everybody.